Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello were an American comedy duo composed of Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, whose work on radio and in film and television made them the most important comedy team of the 1940s and early 1950s. Their patter routine, Who's on First, is one of the best known comedy routines of all time and set the framework for many of their best known comedy bits. Bud Abbott, 1897 to 1974, was a veteran burlesque entertainer from a show business family. He started in burlesque box offices as a treasurer around 1918 and eventually managed and produced touring burlesque companies before becoming a performer. He worked as a straight man with his wife Betty, then with veteran burlesque comedians such as Harry Stepp and Harry Evanson. Lou Costello, 1906 to 1959, became a burlesque comic in 1928 after failing to break into movie acting and working as a stunt double and film extra. He appears briefly in the 1927 Laurel and Hardy silent two-reeler, The Battle of the Century, seated at ringside during Stan Laurel's ill-fated boxing match. As a teenager, Costello had been an amateur boxer in his hometown of Paterson, New Jersey. Costello's first appearance in burlesque was in St. Joseph, Missouri. He joined the Mutual Burlesque Wheel in 1929 and Minsky's in 1932. While they crossed paths a few times, the two comedians first worked together in 1935 at the El Tinge Burlesque Theater on 42nd Street in New York City. This performance came about when Costello's regular partner became ill. Other performers in the show, including Abbott's wife Betty, encouraged a permanent pairing. The duo built an act by refining and reworking numerous burlesque sketches with Abbott as a devious straight man and Costello as a dim-witted comic. The team's first radio appearance was on the Kate Smith Hour on February 3, 1938. At first, the similarities between their voices made it difficult for radio listeners, as opposed to stage audiences, to tell them apart during their rapid-fire repartee. As a result, Costello affected a high-pitched, childish voice. Who's on First was first performed for a national radio audience the following month. They performed on the program as regulars for 2 years, while also landing roles in a Broadway revue, The Streets of Paris, in 1939. In 1940, Universal Studios signed them for a musical, One Night in the Tropics. Cast in supporting roles, they stole the show with several classic routines, including the Who's on First routine. Universal signed them to a 2-picture contract. Their second film, Buck Privates, directed by Arthur Lubin and co-starring the Andrews sisters, was a massive hit, earning $4 million at the box office and launching Abbott and Costello as stars. After working as Fred Allen's summer replacement in 1940, Abbott and Costello joined Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy on the Chase and Sanborn Hour in 1941. Two of their films, Buck Privates and Hold That Ghost, were adapted for Lux Radio Theater that same year. They launched their own weekly radio show October 8th, 1942, sponsored by Camel Cigarettes. The Abbott and Costello Show mixed comedy with musical interludes by vocalists such as Connie Haynes, the Delta Rhythm Boys, Skinny Ennis, Marilyn Maxwell. Regulars and semi-regulars on the show included Artie Auerbach as Mr. Kitzel, Elvia Allman, Mel Blanc, Verna Felton, Sidney Fields, and Frank Nelson. Ken Niles was the show's longtime announcer, doubling as an exasperated foil to Costello, who routinely insulted his on-air wife, played by Elvia Allman. Guest stars included Cary Grant, Frank Sinatra, the Andrews Sisters, and Lucille Ball. In 1947, the show moved to ABC, the former NBC Blue Network. During their time on ABC, the duo also hosted a 30-minute children's radio program, the Abbott and Costello Children's Show, on Saturday mornings. The program featured child vocalist Anna Mae Slaughter and child announcer Johnny McGovern. It was after this that the duo moved on to television. I am Jimbo for OTRR, the Old Time Radio Researchers. This bio was taken from Wikipedia.